It's 5 in the morning, but Dhaka is already wide awake. The city pulses with rickshaw bells, blaring horns, and voices rising above the chaos. 23 million people squeeze into a space that feels impossibly small. Here, you're swept into a human river. Personal space vanishes, and you move with the crowd or get left behind. Dhaka is a city of extremes, dense, polluted, and gridlocked, yet bursting with life and resilience. Despite the headlines calling it hell on earth, I came to see the real stories behind the chaos. People here aren't just surviving, they're building lives, chasing dreams, and creating community in the most challenging conditions. My journey is to look past the statistics and meet the people who make this city extraordinary. This is a search for the humanity that endures within the storm. I met Fatima, a 9-year-old girl whose day starts before sunrise in a cramped slum. Her school uniform is her most prized possession, a symbol of hope. She walks 2 kilometers to school, dodging traffic and rubbish, clutching her only pen and notebook. Crossing the main road is a daily act of courage, sprinting through a torrent of vehicles for the chance to learn. When I asked if she was scared, she said, "Sometimes, but I want to be a doctor, so I must be brave." For Fatima, the chaos is just the backdrop to her ambition. Her journey is more than a walk to school. It's a quiet act of defiance. Every day she risks everything for education. Her determination is a testament to the dreams that fuel this city. In Dhaka, even a child's daily routine is a story of resilience. The city's future is being shaped by children like Fatima, who refuse to let their circumstances define them. In her, hope walks through the chaos. The Buriganga River, once Dhaka's lifeline, is now a toxic blackened artery. The stench of chemicals and decay is overwhelming, yet thousands still depend on it. Karim, a ferryman for 40 years, remembers when children swam here and fish were plentiful. Now, the water burns your skin, but it's still his only way to feed his family. Along the banks, families live in makeshift homes, children play near the polluted water, and scavengers dive for scraps. The river is both poison and provider, a paradox of survival. Despite the environmental catastrophe, life on the Buriganga is vibrant and relentless. Ferries, boats, and people crowd the water, each carving out a living from what remains. The resilience here is staggering. People adapt, endure, and find ways to survive. The Buriganga is a constant reminder of loss, but also of the unbreakable will to live. In Dhaka, even a dead river sustains life. In Dhaka, traffic isn't a problem, it's a way of life. Streets are a tangled mess of vehicles and people, where a short trip can take hours. I spent a day with Harun, a rickshaw puller whose world is defined by the city's gridlock. He pedals for hours, earning just enough to survive, always at risk from buses that barely notice him. Every day is a gamble between making money and staying safe. The economic cost of this gridlock is huge, but the human cost is greater. Lost time, stress, and constant danger. Yet, people adapt, vendors sell snacks between cars, passengers chat, and a strange camaraderie forms in the standstill. Harun finds focus in the chaos, navigating gaps invisible to others. For many, this is simply the price of living in Dhaka. The city's traffic is relentless, but so is its spirit. In the gridlock, life goes on, improvised, resilient, and always moving forward. Here, survival is an everyday act of patience and ingenuity. Even in the jam, Dhaka never stops. To feel Dhaka's pulse, visit its markets. At Karan Bazaar, chaos reigns. Trucks unload mountains of produce, laborers carry impossible loads, and the air is thick with the scent of food and sweat. Rahim, a young porter, hauls over 100 kilograms at a time for just a few dollars a day. Every taka is hard-earned, stretched to cover life's basics. Anwara, selling chilies on a mat, might earn $1 after a day in the sun, enough to feed her children. Here, every transaction is a negotiation for survival. Yet the market is more than hardship, it's a community. Vendors share tea, stories, and support, forging friendships over decades. The struggle is raw, but so is the connection. In the market, Dhaka's resilience is visible, in sweat, laughter, and the quiet dignity of those who refuse to give up. This is where the city's heart beats loudest. In Dhaka, the monsoon is an annual siege. Rains turn streets into rivers within minutes, flooding homes and halting the city. Rickshaw pullers wade through waist-deep water, children play in the floods, and families huddle on raised platforms to stay dry. For slum dwellers, the monsoon means soaked belongings, disease, and starting over, again and again. I met a mother cooking on bricks above filthy water, her voice weary but determined. Every year we lose everything, we start again. The day after the flood, neighbors help each other clean and rebuild. The city's endurance is astonishing. People face disaster with grit and solidarity. In Dhaka, survival means adapting to the inevitable, finding hope in the aftermath. The monsoon tests the city, but it also reveals its strength. Here, resilience is a way of life. Power cuts are a daily reality in Dhaka, plunging neighborhoods into darkness. But when the lights go out, ingenuity shines. Vendors light candles, barbers cut hair by candlelight, and students study under street lamps. People create their own solutions, refusing to let unreliable systems stop them. I met young people running a mobile library on a rickshaw, bringing books to slum children. Rooftop gardens sprout across the city, families growing food in old containers. These small acts of innovation are quiet rebellions against hardship. In the darkness, hope flickers, proof that the human spirit endures. Dhaka's story isn't just struggle, it's creativity, connection, and the will to build something better. Even in the shadows, the city finds light. Dhaka's slums are crowded and poor, but they pulse with community. Life spills into the alleys. Children play cricket, women share stories, men debate over tea. Privacy is rare, but support is everywhere. Nazreen, living in a single room, told me, "We have nothing, but we have each other." Neighbors share food, help with sick children, and rally in crisis. Here, survival is a team effort, not a solo struggle. The laughter in the slums isn't denial. It's defiance, a choice to find joy amid hardship. Community is the strongest survival tool in Dhaka. Even when the city's infrastructure fails, its social fabric holds strong. In the slums, hope is found in connection. My time in Dhaka ends, but the stories stay with me. This city is not just chaos or poverty, it's a place of contradictions, strength, and hope. The people I met are not victims, they are survivors, innovators, and dreamers. They ask not for pity, but to be seen and understood. Their lives are rich with meaning, ambition, and resilience. The challenges here are immense, but change begins with empathy and attention. Fatima, Harun, Nasreen, their stories reflect universal hopes for a better life. As I leave, I urge you, listen, share, and remember these voices. Dhaka deserves more than a headline. It deserves our understanding and support. Let's make sure their stories are heard.